It has been 2 whole years. A judge gave a direct order, but Martell Holt never attended a single counseling session. Not once, and still no consequences. The question is this custody battle really about the children? Or is it a dangerous fight for power? Fans are shocked, because what is happening inside that Madison County courtroom is no longer about parenting. It has turned into a war of money, manipulation, and control. And here's the most shocking part: Martell Holt already admitted his mistakes on camera, yet the case drags on. So who is really protecting him? When a mother fights for her children, justice should be on her side. But that is not what's happening for Melody Shari. For 2 years, Martell Holt has ignored court orders and still walks away untouched. Fans now say this is not a custody case, it's psychological warfare. Martell Holt has always been skilled at twisting the story, but this time people are finally seeing through the act. What started as a typical custody battle between 2 former partners has turned into something much deeper and far more troubling. Fans are now worried about Melody Shari and her children, because what is happening in that Madison County courtroom is no longer just about parenting. It is about power, money, and manipulation. To explain it clearly, the judge ordered Martell to attend counseling and undergo a psychological evaluation. This was not a suggestion, nor was it a light recommendation. It was a direct order from the court, something that carried legal weight and consequences. But here we are, 2 full years later, and he has not done it even once. Not a single session, not one step forward. Fans are left baffled, asking the same question again and again: how can a man openly defy a judge's order and walk away without consequences? The longer it drags on, the more troubling it becomes. The issue is not just Martell ignoring his responsibilities, but also his determination to fight a battle he has already lost. A jury found him guilty. The evidence is not hidden. It is out, in the open. He even admitted on camera that he sent things he should never have sent. These are not rumors. These are facts. So, why keep appealing? Why keep pushing this uphill fight, when the outcome seems obvious? For many who have followed the case closely, the answer is painfully clear. It is about control. Control has become the central theme of this entire situation. When fans talk about Martell, the word comes up again and again. He is not fighting for custody in the traditional sense. He is not even fighting for love or fatherhood in the way most people understand it. He is fighting to control the kids, the money, and, most of all, Melody. To him, this battle is not about raising children, it is about winning a war against the woman who moved on without him. Think about what he has lost. He lost his wife. He lost the lifestyle that came with her success. He lost the steady support that helped him rise. Instead of accepting these losses and building a new life on his own, Martell has chosen to use the court system as a weapon, dragging Melody into endless hearings and appeals, ensuring that her life remains unsettled and exhausting. Every delay, every refusal, every no-show feels less like a legal strategy and more like psychological warfare. And people are noticing. Fans are no longer just frustrated with Martell, they are beginning to question the judge. How many times can a man ignore mandatory counseling and walk away untouched? How long can this cycle continue before the system itself looks biased? There is a growing belief that if Melody had ignored court orders the way Martell has, she would have been punished immediately. Yet here he is, free to stall and stretch this process for years. The frustration has even reached his own supporters. Some of them, people who once defended him, are now calling for accountability. They argue that the judge has been far too lenient, allowing Martell to play games with the law. They want to see real consequences, something that forces him to finally take responsibility instead of acting like the rules do not apply to him. Meanwhile, Melody remains stuck. Every court date is another ambush. Every delay is another attack. She cannot fully move forward with her life because Martell keeps pulling her back into the courtroom. He is not just fighting for custody, he is fighting to keep her tied to him, to make sure she never fully escapes his shadow. The most shocking part of all this is that Martell is not even trying to hide it. He walks around acting like the victim, painting himself as the one being wronged, but anyone paying attention can see through the performance. His actions tell the real story. He is not fighting for his children's best interests. He is fighting for his pride, his ego, and his desire to stay relevant in Melody's world. Fans online have been blunt about it. They say Martell wants Melody to give up, to get so tired of the fight that she eventually says, "Fine, take it, I'm done." But Melody is not giving in. She has made it clear that she will fight for her children, her peace, and her future, no matter how long it takes. That resilience has turned her into a symbol for other women going through similar struggles. And then there is the hypocrisy that continues to fuel anger. Martell proudly shows off his son with Arian Curry on social media, posting him without hesitation. But when it comes to the 4 children he shares with Melody, he wants to control how and when they appear. Fans ask the obvious question: if he can freely post one child online, why should Melody be restricted from showing her children? The double standard is glaring, and people are tired of it. This is why many believe the battle has nothing to do with fatherhood. It is not about being the best parent he can be. It is about power. It is about proving he can still disrupt Melody's life. It is about making sure that, even though she has moved on, he can still pull her back into his orbit through legal delays and emotional strain. At its core, this fight has exposed something far more serious. Skipping a psychological evaluation for 2 years is not just forgetfulness. It is not a matter of bad timing. It is a choice. And for many observers, that choice is a red flag that points to deeper issues. Some fans have gone as far as to suggest that Martell may need psychiatric care in a hospital setting. Not because they hate him, but because they genuinely believe something is wrong. They fear that if nothing changes, his behavior could harm not only Melody, but also the children caught in the middle. And those children are growing up fast. They live in a digital age where everything is public. They see the headlines, they hear the whispers, and they read the comments online. They are not blind to what is happening. Sooner or later, they will piece it all together. They will know who protected them, who caused the unnecessary pain, and who refused to change. Melody, on the other hand, has shown remarkable strength. She is not online bashing Martell. She is not wasting energy tearing him down. She is focused on raising her children, protecting their peace, and building her future. That quiet resilience is what makes people rally behind her. While Martell is stuck reliving old battles in court, Melody is moving forward, proving that she does not need him to succeed. Fans often describe it like this: Martell is playing checkers, but Melody is playing chess. He reacts, while she plans. He clings to the past, while she builds the future. And that difference could not be clearer. In the end, this case has become much bigger than a custody dispute. It has turned into a public lesson about pride, power, and control. Martell may think he is winning by dragging things out, but the truth is, every delay shines a harsher light on him. The more he resists, the more obvious it becomes that this is not about love for his kids, it is about ego, and ego always comes at a cost. The fans know it. The children will one day understand it, and unless Martell changes, the fall he is trying so hard to avoid may be the very thing that finally forces him to face reality. Control is the word that keeps coming up whenever fans discuss Martell Holt. To them, this fight has nothing to do with fatherhood, love, or even custody in the traditional sense. It is not about building a healthy future for his children. Instead, it is about keeping control over the kids, over the money, and over Melody herself. That is what people see. He lost his wife. He lost the stability and lifestyle that she worked so hard to build with him. He lost the partner who once helped lift him higher. But instead of taking accountability for his mistakes, instead of accepting that loss and moving forward like a grown man, Martell has chosen a darker path. He has turned the court system into his personal weapon, using it as a tool to make Melody's life harder every step of the way. Every delay, every appeal, and every refusal to follow orders feels less like a legal matter and more like an attack, designed to drain Melody emotionally and financially. It is a strategy that fans recognize as manipulation. They see the pattern. He is not trying to prove himself as a father. He is trying to control the narrative and keep Melody stuck in a cycle where she cannot move on in peace. And people are not just angry with Martell. Their frustration is now turning toward the system itself. They are starting to ask serious questions about the role of the judge in all of this. How many times can a man skip mandatory counseling and psychological evaluations without facing consequences? How many warnings can be given before real punishment is enforced? Fans are convinced that if the roles were reversed, Melody would have been punished immediately. If she ignored court orders for 2 years straight, the penalties would have been swift and harsh. But with Martell, the rules seem different. This double standard has left many questioning whether the court is truly fair or if Martell is being allowed to play by a separate set of rules. That thought alone has sparked anger because it does not just affect Melody, it affects the children who are stuck in the middle of this ongoing battle. People feel that the system, by being so lenient, is indirectly enabling Martell to continue his pattern of control and manipulation. The longer this continues, the more it chips away at faith in justice. Fans who follow the case are openly saying that the judge has been far too patient. At some point, patience turns into protection, and protection turns into injustice. The concern now is not only about how Martell treats Melody, but also about the message this sends to the children. What are they learning if their father can ignore the law and get away with it? What does it teach them about accountability, respect, and responsibility? This is why control has become the defining theme of the story. It is not about custody. It is not about parenting. It is not about what is best for the children. It is about Martell's pride and his refusal to let go of the woman who no longer belongs to him. Fans see it, Melody feels it, and now even the judge is being called into question for allowing it to go on for so long. In the end, the truth is simple. Martell is not fighting for love. He is not fighting for family. He is fighting to stay in control of a situation where control no longer belongs to him, and until the court steps in with real consequences, Melody will continue to carry the weight of a battle that should have ended a long time ago. He continues to appeal, dragging the case along as if no rule applies to him. Each appeal feels less like a fight for justice and more like a tactic to buy time. Even people who once stood firmly in his corner are now questioning his choices. Some of his own supporters are publicly calling on the judge to finally step in and put an end to the endless cycle of delays. They argue that without accountability, Martell will keep twisting the system for his own benefit. While all of this plays out, Melody remains trapped in the middle of it. Instead of closing this chapter and focusing on her healing, she is forced to return to court again and again. Every hearing means more stress, more waiting, and more money spent. For Melody, it is not just about fighting for her children but also about protecting her peace of mind. Each new court date feels like Martell's way of tightening the pressure, draining her energy little by little. What makes the situation even harder to understand is that Martell is not hiding his behavior. In public, he paints himself as the victim, telling stories that make it seem as though the system is against him. But behind the scenes, his actions tell a different story, one of calculated moves meant to create chaos. Many fans believe his real plan is simple: exhaust Melody until she finally surrenders. But Melody has made it clear that she will not give up. Despite the long hours in courtrooms, the emotional roller coaster, and the constant attempts to wear her down, she stands firm. People are beginning to admire her, not just as a mother, but as a woman of strength, resilience, and dignity. The hypocrisy is one of the main reasons fans feel frustrated with Martell. On social media, he often posts pictures and videos of his son with Arian Curry, proudly showing him to the world. Yet when it comes to Melody, he suddenly wants strict rules about how their 4 children can appear online. This raises an obvious question that people keep asking. If Martell can share his child freely, why should Melody be treated differently? The double standard is hard to ignore, and it makes his intentions look less about protecting the kids and more about controlling their mother. What makes the situation even harder to watch is how it has gone far beyond a typical breakup. At this point, it no longer feels like 2 parents learning how to co-parent. It feels like psychological warfare. Each time the case looks close to resolution, Martell finds a way to delay it. Sometimes it is excuses, other times it is failing to show up when required. These constant disruptions keep Melody tied to the courtroom and prevent her from fully moving forward with her life. The sad truth is that it does not appear to be about proving he is a strong and responsible father. If that were the case, his actions would reflect consistency, effort, and respect for the court's rules. Instead, his pattern of behavior shows something different: a desire to keep Melody trapped in his orbit. By dragging out the process, he continues to remind her and everyone watching that he still has the power to disrupt her peace. And perhaps the most painful part of all is that people can clearly see what is happening. The unfairness is visible, and fans cannot help but call it out every time. Martell is fully aware that the cameras are rolling and that the public is paying close attention. Yet, he continues to act as if the rules do not apply to him. He has ignored multiple court orders without showing the slightest fear of consequences. For many, this has become a breaking point. Fans are openly questioning how a man can go to full years disobeying a judge's order without being punished. The longer it drags on, the more it looks like the system is protecting him rather than enforcing justice. Some have even gone as far as suggesting that the case be moved out of Madison County altogether, believing the judge has been far too soft and unwilling to take real action. This growing frustration is not limited to the fans. Even within Melody's circle, whispers of disappointment are starting to spread. Supporters point to her legal team and question whether they have fought hard enough for her. The belief is that with stronger representation, the case should have been resolved long ago. These doubts, while harsh, are becoming louder as the delays continue to pile up. Each new hearing that leads nowhere feels like another failure, another setback for Melody and her children. The most painful part is how deeply the children are being affected. Every delay means more time spent in confusion, caught between two parents locked in a never-ending battle. It is no longer about custody or co-parenting, it is about power and control. Martell's refusal to cooperate keeps Melody tied to the courtroom, draining her strength and slowing her healing. For fans, it is heartbreaking to watch a woman fight so hard to protect her peace, only to be dragged back into chaos by a man who seems to fear accountability. And those children are not little anymore. They live in a world where everything is online. They see the comments, read the headlines, and hear the whispers. What they are watching is not just a disagreement between parents, it is their father using the legal system to attack their mother while refusing to seek the help that could make him a better parent. One fan even pleaded, "Melody, please protect your kids online. They are smart, and they understand more than you think." And it is true. Kids today can recognize when something is wrong, and eventually, they will know who fought for them and who caused unnecessary pain. Then there is Ariane Curry. Fans have not forgotten her role in this story. She was the other woman, the mother of Martell's child outside his marriage, and someone who disrespected Melody publicly more than once. Yet Martell continues to keep her close, which only adds another layer to the pain and drama surrounding this case. Too many, that is a dangerous warning sign. Some fans even believe he may need hospital-level psychiatric care, not out of anger, but out of real concern that his mindset could harm Melody and the children. Meanwhile, Melody has chosen a different path. She is not online tearing Martell down. She is not dragging his name. She is focused on raising her kids, handling her business, and planning her future. That strength is exactly why fans rally behind her. While Martell is stuck reliving old battles in court, Melody is quietly building a better tomorrow. And that success bothers him the most. He cannot stand the fact that she is thriving without him. He resents that her name still carries weight, that she is moving forward, and that she no longer needs his approval. Every court date feels less like a custody hearing and more like an ambush, designed to disrupt her life. But the truth is, it is not working. Melody's resilience has become an example for other women in similar situations. She has shown that you do not have to give up, no matter how many games are played. As one fan put it, Martell is playing checkers, but Melody is playing chess? He reacts, while she plans. The difference is clear. Dragging out this case was supposed to weaken her, but it has backfired. The spotlight has turned on Martell, and not in a positive way. And then comes the unspoken issue, the money. Many fans believe this entire custody fight is not really about the children at all, but about finances. Martell lost his wife and the lifestyle she helped build. Instead of rebuilding his own path, he seems to be chasing her success through child support, control of funds, and power over how the kids are shown publicly. Fans have started calling it exactly what it looks like, a money grab dressed up as concern. But the truth is, it is not working. Melody is standing her ground. The kids are watching. The fans are louder than ever. And even the judge, who has been patient until now, may soon have to draw a hard line. At some point, the stalling and manipulation will catch up to Martell. Pride cannot protect him forever. The harder the fall, the sharper the lesson. And if things keep going this way, that fall might come with handcuffs and a court-ordered stay that no amount of appeals can delay. Because the truth is clear, Melody is not coming back. The marriage is over. The control is gone. And Martell cannot rewrite that story, no matter how hard he tries.